Football is strange. Really strange. Think about it. 22 adults run around a field, trying to kick a ball into a net. That is the whole game. No treasure, no food, no kingdom, just a ball. And yet, billions of people care. They scream, they cry, they paint their faces. They travel across the world, they fight strangers online, they remember goals from 20 years ago like religious events. A man misses a penalty, and an entire country feels pain. A team wins a trophy, and people dance in the streets until sunrise. Why? Why do humans care so much about football? It cannot just be the ball, because the ball is boring. A football sitting alone on the grass means nothing. But put 22 players around it, add 2 goals, a referee, a clock, a stadium, and millions of watching eyes, suddenly the ball becomes the center of the universe. For 90 minutes, nothing else matters. Wars pause, work stops, families gather, strangers become brothers, and one small round object decides whether people feel joy or heartbreak. That is not normal, but maybe football works because humans are not normal. Humans are tribal animals. For most of history, we lived in groups, small groups. Your tribe protected you, your tribe fed you, your tribe gave you identity. If your tribe survived, you survived. If your tribe lost, you were in danger. So the human brain became obsessed with us and them, our people, our colors, their colors, our home, their home. Football fits perfectly into that ancient part of the brain. A club is not just a club, a national team is not just 11 players. It becomes a tribe. The shirt becomes a flag, the stadium becomes sacred ground, the chant becomes a war song, and the other team becomes the enemy. Not a real enemy, not usually, but emotionally, it feels real. That is why a normal person can watch a match from a couch and feel like they personally won or lost. They did not touch the ball. They did not run. They did not train. They did nothing, but their brain says, we won, or worse, we lost. That tiny word we explains almost everything. When people say, we played badly, they are not being logical. They are revealing something deeper. The team has become part of the self. Its victory becomes your victory. Its shame becomes your shame. Its history becomes your memory. This is why football is so powerful. It gives people a larger identity. You are not just one person with bills, problems, and a job. For 90 minutes, you are part of something huge. A city, a country, a story, a tribe. Football is also simple. That matters. Almost anyone can understand it. You do not need expensive equipment. You do not need a special body type. You do not need to be rich. You need a ball, sometimes not even a real ball. A bottle, a can, a bundle of socks. 2 bags can become goalposts. A street can become a stadium. Rich countries, poor countries, big cities, small villages, beaches, parking lots, schoolyards, war zones. Anywhere humans have feet, football can exist. And because it is simple, everyone can imagine playing it. When you watch a player shoot, your body understands. When you watch a defender miss, your body understands. When someone scores, you do not need an explanation. The ball crossed the line. That is it. The whole world can understand the same moment at the same time. But simple does not mean shallow. Football is simple on the outside and extremely complex inside. Every match is a living puzzle. Space, timing, fear, pressure, mistakes, luck. A team can dominate for 89 minutes and still lose. One slip, one bounce, one bad decision, one perfect pass. That is enough. This is another reason humans love football. It feels like life. Life is not always fair. The better person does not always win. The harder worker does not always get rewarded. Sometimes you do everything right, and one mistake destroys everything. Sometimes you are losing for the whole game, and one chance saves you. Football compresses the chaos of life into 90 minutes. That is why it hurts, and that is why it is beautiful. There is also something special about scarcity. In basketball, teams score all the time. In football, goals are rare. That makes each one feel enormous. A goal is not just a point. It is an explosion. For most of the match, tension slowly builds. Almost. A shot goes wide, a header hits the bar. The goalkeeper saves it. The crowd gasps. Nothing happens, but everything almost happened. Then finally, the ball goes in, and the stadium erupts. That eruption is not only about the goal, it is the release of all the waiting, all the fear, all the hope, all the tension. That is why a 1-0 match can feel more emotional than a game with 10 scores, because football understands anticipation. It makes you wait, and humans value what they have to wait for. But football is not only about joy, it is about suffering. In fact, suffering may be the point. Most fans do not choose a team because it always wins. They inherit a team, from a parent, from a city, from childhood, from one unforgettable match. And once the team enters your heart, it is very hard to remove. Even if they disappoint you, even if they ruin your weekend, even if they lose in the stupidest way possible, you come back. Because loyalty is not logical. Loyalty is emotional memory. You remember watching with your father. You remember your first jersey. You remember the goal that made you scream. You remember the final that broke you. The club becomes a container for your life. Years pass, players leave, managers change, stadiums change, you change, but the team remains. That is why football can make grown adults cry. They are not only crying about a ball, they are crying about time, about childhood, about belonging, about hope, about the feeling that something bigger than them still exists. The World Cup makes this even stronger, because now the tribe is not just a club, it is a country. For a few weeks, millions of people who disagree about almost everything suddenly want the same thing. They may argue about politics, money, religion, culture, but when the national team scores, they hug strangers. That is rare. Football creates temporary unity. A country becomes one crowd, one nervous body, one heartbeat. That is why international football feels so intense. The players are not just athletes, they become symbols. If they win, people say the country has pride. If they lose, people say the country is cursed. It is irrational, but it is human. Football also gives us heroes and villains. The genius, the captain, the young kid, the old legend, the goalkeeper who saves everything, the striker who misses when it matters most, the referee everyone hates, the rival who always scores. Humans love stories, and football creates stories without needing a script. Nobody knows the ending. That is better than a movie. In a movie, the hero wins because someone wrote it. In football, the hero might miss, the villain might score, the favorite might collapse, the underdog might survive. The story is live, and everyone is watching it being written. Maybe that's the real magic. Football is one of the few places where modern humans can still feel ancient emotions safely. Tribal identity, battle, fear, glory, loss, loyalty, ritual, song, pain, hope, all without actual war. It's not perfect. Fans can become toxic. National pride can become ugly. Players can be treated like gods one day and criminals the next. Because when ancient emotions wake up, they are powerful. Football brings up the best and worst in people. But that's also why it matters. It touches something deep. Something older than stadiums, older than television, older than FIFA, older than money. A need to belong, a need to compete, a need to believe that our side means something. So yes, from the outside, football looks ridiculous. 22 people chasing a ball. But from the inside, it's not just a ball. It is your childhood, your city, your country, your memories, your tribe, your hope, your heartbreak, your chance to feel part of something bigger than yourself. That's why humans care so much about football. Not because the game is complicated, but because we are. And for 90 minutes, all that human complexity becomes simple. One field, two teams, one ball, and millions of hearts pretending it is just a game.